What's up guys? So today I'm going to be making a video ranking the top chase cards from all the sets in Sword and Shield. So to begin with, we're going to start with the Marnie from Sword and Shield base. I'm going to put Marnie in C tier just to start off. You know, it's a trainer card, it is what it is. I don't think I can justify putting it any higher. The price isn't super high on it. It's not a huge chase card. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in C tier, but there is something worse. I'm going to be putting in D tier, and that is Boss's Orders from Rebel Clash. It is what it is. Something's got to go in D tier. I mean, it's not really, you can't even call it a chase, to be honest. It's just the most expensive card. Next up, we have the Charizard from Darkness Ablaze. I'm going to put this in C tier as well. I'm actually going to put it behind the Marnie. Again, this doesn't have really any value at all. It's just a regular Charizard. You're going to see over the next couple sets, at the beginning of Sword and Shield, especially during COVID, there was a ton of Charizard cards out there as the top hits, a lot of Charizard fatigue. So for that reason, C tier, it's nothing special. It is what it is. You could even make an argument to put it in D tier, but I'm going to leave it in C behind Marnie. Next up, we have the Rainbow Charizard from Champion's Path. I'm actually going to put this in B tier. It's got a lot of value. I believe it's $170, $180 card. I actually like the other Charizard V more from Champion's Path, the artwork. I'm not a huge fan of rainbows, but, based on the price, the pull rate, we got to put some respect on it. So for that reason, and I think it will grow in the future a little bit over time. So for that reason, it's going to be solid in B tier. Next up, we have the Chonkachu from Vivid Voltage. I'm going to put this in B tier as well, behind the Rainbow Charizard. This will probably be like the final card in B tier. You could also make an argument to put it in C tier, and I might actually move it towards the end. But, obviously pulling the Chonkachu during COVID was a big thing. Vivid Voltage was huge. It has moved up in price. It's over $100 now, so we got to put some respect on its name, but definitely can't justify putting it any higher, and I don't think it goes above the Rainbow Charizard from Champion's Path. So I'm going to leave it in B tier for now. Next up, we have the Charizard from Shining Fates. I'm going to put this in front of the Marnie in C tier. I don't think it's B tier worthy. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this artwork. It's kind of the similar card to Darkness Ablaze. It has some decent value. It's a decent chase, but, I don't see it growing anytime in the future, especially considering how large of a reprint Shining Fates got. You can still find it on shelves pretty much everywhere years after release. So for that reason, I'm going to leave it in C tier. Next up, we have the Blaziken from Chilling Reign. This is going to go in A tier. I love the Alt-Art Blaziken. A lot of people don't like the chicken. Fair enough, but I definitely think it's better than the cards in B tier. I don't think it's S tier worthy. This card is pushing about $200 at this point, so it's definitely recovered from its low. I really like the artwork, but it's definitely not going to be an S tier card. But for that reason, I'm going to leave it in A tier. And also, just on that note, the pull rates for Chilling Reign are absolutely terrible. So I can understand why this card is worth $200, even though it's not a fan favorite Pokemon like a Gengar, Charizard, etc. So it makes sense to me combining the pull rates with the good artwork that it's this price, and I think it's decently rated in the A tier. Next up, we have the Umbreon from Evolving Skies. This is going to go into S tier, obviously. Not really much to talk about here. It's the best card in Sword and Shield. I love Umbreon like most people. Beautiful artwork. The card's pushing, what, $700 raw almost at this point. PSA 10s are $1,200 if not more. So crazy, crazy moves. It's only going to get higher with time, I would believe, unless the popularity of the card really falls and people don't want it. But considering, that there's a 10,000 pop report or higher and the price of the card is still over $1,000, people love it. People want to collect it. It's not out of the realm of possibility for me to believe that 10 to 12,000 people around the world would want to have this card in a PSA 10. So it makes perfect sense. It's a great artwork, great overall chase card as well. So it's definitely the king of S tier. Next up, we have the Reverse Holo from Celebrations. I'm going to put this in C tier, in front of the Darkness Ablaze Charizard. I really just, so much Charizard fatigue, and it's obviously better than the Darkness Ablaze Charizard for me. I'm not a huge fan of that card, but it's a Reverse Holo. Like, it's nothing special. I can't justify putting it any higher on the list. Some of you might even put it in D tier just because it's not a full art or anything, but top hit from Celebrations, it is what it is. I'll leave it in C tier for now. Next up, Gengar from Fusion Strike. This is going to go in A tier in front of the Blaziken. Gengar for me, obviously it's a fan favorite for a lot of people. I love the artwork. When a lot of the alt art cards like the Blaziken, like the Lugia, like the Giratina were crashing last year, Gengar held strong. It actually increased in value a little bit, and this speaks volumes to how much people love Gengar and love the artwork. I don't think I can put it in S tier because there's going to be one more card going in S tier, which a lot of you can probably guess already, but it's definitely going to be at the front of A tier. I'm happy with it in that position. Next up, we have the Charizard from Brilliant Stars. I'm actually going to put this in A tier, behind the Blaziken. This is my favorite Charizard card from all of Sword and Shield. You have it battling with the Venusaur in the artwork. Best card from Brilliant Stars, first set to have the trainer gallery. Obviously, Charizard Fatigue, I don't think I can justify putting it any higher, and the price kind of reflects that's a $120 card, so nothing crazy like the Gengar, the Moonbreon, or the Giratina, something like that, but, you know, definitely respectable value, just based on the artwork and everything that's going on. Once Brilliant Stars sells out, I do think this card will see an increase in price, kind of what we're seeing right now with the Gengar and Fusion Strike, the Giratina and Lost Origin, and the Blaziken and Chilling Reign. So I think once that set goes out of stock, there's no more out there or no more being produced, we will see that price go up a bit over time. Next up, we have the Machamp from Astral Radiance. I'm going to put this at the front of B tier. I don't think I can justify putting it in A tier. Obviously, it's not a fan favorite Pokemon. This card is pushing almost $100 at this point. I believe it's $97 this morning, something like that. I really like the artwork, so just in terms of, like, if I was ranking this solely on my favorite cards, I'd probably put it higher, but in terms of investability, I don't see it becoming a $300-$400 card anytime soon. So for that reason, I will put it in B tier, but again, it's a beautiful alt art card, best card from Astral Radiance, so for that reason, solid B tier. Next up, we have the Mew, the Rainbow Mew from Pokemon Go. I'm actually going to put this in C tier in front of the Marnie. A lot of people don't like Pokemon Go, I understand, and as an investment vehicle, I don't think it's super great. Long-term, top chase card in Pokemon Go, we could see some growth in this. I don't think you're going to see a ton, but Mewtwo, it's a fan favorite Pokemon. There's always going to be some value there, obviously more than just a random Charizard from Darkness Ablaze or obviously Boss's Order, so I'm okay putting it here now. I don't think I can justify putting it any higher on the list because I don't think it's going to be a $100, $200 card in the future. So for that reason, I'm going to leave it in C tier behind the Shining Fates Charizard. Next up, we have the Giratina from Lost Origin, and I'm going to put this in S tier behind the Umbreon. This obviously is the second most expensive card in Sword and Shield behind the Moonbreon. I think that the chase for it is absolutely amazing. Obviously, Gengar is probably a more fan favorite Pokemon than Giratina, but just the fact of the chase, the pull rate, and current value of the card and where it's going in the future. I mean, this card's almost pushing $300 at this point, so I do think it's going to be a solid investment long term. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a $400 or $500 card raw at one point in the future, especially once Lost Origin sells out. We know there's no more boxes coming. So second favorite card, in my opinion, for a lot of people in Sword and Shield based on price. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in S tier behind the Moonbreon, obviously, and I'm okay with that. Next up, we have the Lugia from Silver Tempest. I'm actually going to put this in front of the Charizard in A tier. I really love this card. It's probably one of my favorite artworks. I love the colors, just the shape, and how everything flows together. Obviously, it tanked in price last year when Silver Tempest got a large reprint, and obviously when all the alt arts were getting hit, this one took a hit as well. With that said, it's a beautiful card. I believe it's going to rebound over time. I wouldn't be surprised if it, reaches $200 again in the future or something like that. So I'm going to leave it behind, behind the Blaziken, just because I think the pull rate for the Blaziken is going to push it up further, and especially considering Chilling Reign is already out of stock, we know no more is coming. For that reason, and current investing prices and the fact that it's raising right now, I'm going to leave it behind the Blaziken, so I'm okay with that. And finally, we have the Giratina from Crown Zenith. I'm going to put this in B tier behind the Machamp. Obviously, Giratina, we talked about it in the S tier, the alt art from Lost Origin. This is the card from Crown Zenith, top hit. I like the alt art Machamp more, and I think it's probably going to grow more in the future. These cards are fairly similar in price, though. The Machamp's $97. This is, a $77, $80 card, so not too far off. I do think it could potentially reach $100 in the future, depending on what happens. Obviously, over time, cards get destroyed, lost, all of that damage. So a near mint copy of this, obviously in the future, will see some growth, I believe. but not a ton. I don't think it's going to move like a Gengar or a Giratina or even the Charizard from Brilliant Stars, etc. So for that reason, I think it's solid in B tier where it is. I'm trying to think if there's anything I really want to move. I may actually just move. I may move this Charizard from Darkness Ablaze into D tier and just put it in front of Boss's Orders. The card does nothing for me. It's not worth anything. I don't think it's going to see large moves anytime in the future. Is what it is. I think this is going to be my list. I'm kind of happy with this. Obviously, the Moonbreon Giratina up top. Then you have the Gengar, Blaziken, Lugia, Charizard. Machamp, Giratina, the Rainbow Charizard from Champion's Path, and the Chonkachu in B tier. C tier, you have the Shining Fate Zard, you have the Rainbow Mewtwo from Pokemon Go, Marnie from base set, and then the Reverse Holo from Celebrations. D tier, Darkness Ablaze Charizard, and Boss's Orders. So that's the list. You guys let me know in the comments down below what you would change, where you think I'm wrong, going crazy. Again, don't take this as, any type of investing advice. I really don't deal with singles that much, but these are the cards that I think will do well long term compared to the ones that I don't think will move a ton. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. With that said, thank you for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.